Mr. Gupta ignored what I said. He said emphatically that I must become Minister of Finance because that is what we want, the we want. By that, I would have to work with them. He also said that if I worked with them, I would become very rich, and that he could immediately offer me 600 million. He pointed at Mr. Duduzane and said that they had made him a billionaire and that he had bought a house in Dubai. He said that they worked closely with a number of people, including Lynn Brown and Brian Molife. As a result, they were protected. In other words, those people who work with them are protected. I said that I was going to leave and stood up to leave. I said that I was not interested in being a Minister of Finance, and if he thought I would work with them, he would have to tell me precisely what it is that they do. At that point, Mr. Zuma and Mr. Hlongwane also stood up. I was angry at the stage, and he was also a bit emotional. He was also emotional. He said something along the lines of, I quote, "Look, do you know who we are dealing with?" He was agitated and said, "You think it is illegal?" He said that everything that they do is legal and that they create jobs and contribute to the economy. He said that at the moment, we, which I understood again to be the Gupta family, earn about 6 billion from the fiscus through various entities, including Eskom, Transnet, and government departments. He said that they wanted to increase this amount to 8 billion, and that they thought I could be helpful in this regard. Mr. Gupta said that they had determined that the National Treasury was a stumbling block for their growth, and that they wanted, I quote again, to clean up Treasury. At the end of the meeting, Mr. Gupta repeated that they had information on me, and if I suggested that the meeting had occurred, they would kill me. At this point in time, I did not see any point in reporting the matter to either the police or the Hawks, as I believed that these institutions were seriously compromised, and I saw no reasonable prospect of this matter being properly and fairly investigated.
Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo today said the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture will leave no stone unturned in getting to the root of efforts made to undermine state institutions, including the country's top law enforcement agencies. This after the Commission's second witness, former Deputy Finance Minister Jonas, revealed how National Treasury was effectively weakened during the tenure of Jacob Zuma as state president. Jonas also revealed how senior Hawks officials had asked him to sign a false statement to halt allegations that he was offered a 600 million rand bribe by the Guptabrothers in exchange for accepting a ministerial position.
My concern in this regard was subsequently amply underscored by my later interaction with Major General Mnonopi in relation to the complaints which had been laid by David Mainir of the Democratic Alliance and Dennis Bloom of COPE. I was on a flight to Port Elizabeth when Mr. Nene was removed from office. When I landed, I had a message from Mr. Nene and also received a separate message indicating that the president had attempted to contact me. Mr. Nene sent me a text message in which he said, I quote, that the X has fallen, and suggested that we should meet when I returned from the Eastern Cape. When I spoke to the then President Zuma, he told me that he had removed Mr. Nene as Minister of Finance and that he had appointed Mr. Des van Rooyen. I asked him how he thought Mr. van Rooyen would be capable of performing the job and cope with the financial markets. The President Zuma responded by saying that I was there to help him.